everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today we are going to continue on with this. My main focus will probably be the skin texture mostly. Get that down. I'm not going to go, to me this is more of a value thing than a texture thing. There's some textures. If this was much larger, then obviously you can go, what are you doing? Sorry, it's just the cat. Then obviously can go much more in depth with the textures, but we are going to basically just do it which is appropriate for the size. And if you were to scale it and add the body of the woman as well and the head and everything, then obviously it will look a bit different. So yeah, don't know how far we're going to get with this today, but we will see. So we're going to work on the values a lot more and then also bring in some textural elements. You blocking the light, my darling? Hi. I must draw now. Come. There's not space for the both of us. Huh? There's not space for the both of us. She hasn't done that in a while, but anyways. So that is the plan. Let's get cracking. So yeah, we are going to start. Let me just grab all my pencils. I'm going to grab the usual suspects, which is 8B, not 8B, HB, F, 2B. I'm also going to grab a 3B pencil, the 6B we worked with last time, and let's also just grab in between B as well. So we've got the full every pencil from an F to a 3B, and then we skip 6B. I think just for certain spaces, one might be better than the other. So let's get on with it. So as usual, I'm going to start with the left side. Let's go F first. Quickly gave it a sharpen. Okay, so also going to get my mono erasers handy and close. I'm just going to lighten. If yours isn't as dark as mine, then you didn't have to do that erasing step. For some of these spaces, it will be necessary to do the surrounding area along with it, so that's just what I'm doing here now. So with every layer we are just bringing the focus in more and more and more. So now I'm paying attention to the individual little value shifts in the nail itself. You can even keep your 2H close by, which I think would be necessary for some of these little spaces. I'm going to continue on with my F till I reach a point where I feel like I need something either a little bit darker. Actually, you know what? I'm going to switch to the 2H. So I'm realizing F is a little bit too much for this area. So 2H instead for now. So you'll see all this little fine skin textures is what I meant by me not going too detailed with the skin textures. So if this was a much larger drawing and you were doing this obviously on a much larger scale, then obviously you can put in more details. So you need to edit your details down in such a way that it's appropriate for the size you're working on. Otherwise, you are going to make it look over textured. And I think you need to realize that you can't always put everything in the smallest space. Generally, if you work in smaller sizes, you have to allude to details. You can't actually put in every little line and fold. You have to know which ones are your dominating details, which give the textures, which give the defining look to what you're working on. So that's basically what I mean by me not fully texturing this out. It's just I feel like for the size, if you are much more proficient at certain textures, say for instance skin textures, and you are very good at working in a smaller scale, then absolutely you can obviously add a lot more. So this is also a way for you to figure out exactly how small can you go. Where's your limit for certain size drawings on size and all of that. So I don't want to spend too much time on this drawing because I would like to move along. I would like for, well, myself to actually get ahead of schedule. And move on to other tutorials as well as play around with pastel pencils, which I got. So there's some very fun new things gonna happen in the next year, which I'm very excited about. And definitely I think I have a better method and way of kind of organizing and structuring out the tutorials. So yeah, it will still maintain the same length. I just don't know. My biggest problem was certain stuff obviously takes a long time, and then it's like 2 months later and you're still on the same drawing. So it's just more figuring out scheduling and all of that. So probably keep to small. That's one of the reasons why I keep to smaller size drawings. But since I've now become more proficient at putting in small details in about this size of drawing, it obviously takes a lot longer. So yeah, but with the pastels, my aim with the pastels is more focused type tutorials. Since me myself is still, I'm also still trying to figure out the whole pastel business. But I think really focusing on smaller areas will make it a lot easier for me to do the tutorials, and also it will be a lot shorter, a lot shorter in general. So as you can see, I'm spending more time with my mono eraser than I am at the moment with pencils. And that's just because most of these textures are in the highlighted spots. So we are just making random little scribbles and shapes. That's basically what everything is that we draw. It's just random shapes. So I'm just continuing on with that. But obviously I will continue on with the graphite tutorials, but there will come a point where it will kind of become very same, which I'm very happy with adding the pastels to kind of the whole tutorial list thing. So it will be fun for that. I mean, there's still lots I can do with graphite pencil. Lots of short form videos that I can make, and which I do plan to make. But I find like waiting for the new year should be a bit better. So after this video is, I don't know, there probably won't be a new tutorial for not a very long time, probably like a month or so. Just so that I can get ahead and do more filming and then post later. Probably do short form stuff in between, and then because I also need a lot of time to finish up my larger drawings, so probably have more sound of drawing videos than anything else, because I really need to make I need to make a lot of progress on those because they need to get done. So I'm going to take the 3B and I am going to add a little more depth into this kind of section of the material at the side of the hand. And also doing some bit of lines, as that will just start with the texture. And I'm not going to fully texture out the material either, more allude to it and give it some sort of textural elements. And textural feel, basically. Just giving my 6B a sharpen as well. Adding in the little textural lines in there as well. And then going in and adding some little bit of depth. You can just take your blending stump to kind of blend it out more. Just adding in more depth, because it will definitely need a lot more depth than what we currently have. And then doing the same for the material on the side. Same as you would do for fur, you just add those little lines in. And obviously keeping with the direction of the folds and the material and all of that, as to keep it from looking just wrong, obviously. Then I'm just going to take a blending stump, actually add some powder. Take the 3B, deepen up this little area there. So I'm going to also kind of use the pencil's natural texture on the paper as well to kind of help with that more skin-like texture. So I don't want it to look completely smooth. And I think that will just aid in the overall look. Just to etch. And I'm going to switch to the F pencil for this finger here at the back. And then back with your F pencil just to kind of smooth out that shadow, and then back in with your 2H just to take it up to the edge. And you're going to do the same with the thumb. Okay, so first I'm going to deepen up. This is my 6B pencil. First going to deepen up this hand even more. And I'll do the same with the other side. Still need to make sure that the values are even and make sense on both sides. So we still got some depth left to add. And I'm just using soft pressure and circular motions. And then just deepen up that little shadow area of the sleeve, and then also this area of the material. So again, add some powder to your blending stump. You go first where the pencil is, and then you work your way. Once you've deposited most of your powder, you will move to the areas next to it and blend in between. And add some more depth to this side as well. And just take some powder and blend it out. And I'm also going to take the brush, add some powder, tap off the excess, and just smooth over. Back in with my mono eraser. And just same thing, starting to build up all our little areas of highlights and textures. You're going to start kind of seeing where all your folds and lines are. And this is going to look a lot starker than it should be. But once we start adding more pencils and powders and everything, then it will all start to blend in. And you'll kind of keep building up that kind of look and feel until we reach the final little pencil mark. So it should all come together in the end. That is the plan. And you also, if you look at your reference kind of all the way back, you want to have the same areas of very bright highlights as the reference, so that it doesn't change the shape of what you're drawing. So our main highlights is in this thumb right here, and then you've got a very small one here on the knuckle, and then you've got another large kind of highlighted area here, a very small one here, and this is your most highlighted finger on the right hand, actually left hand, and then obviously some down here in this knuckle, and then you've got a very small little kind of channel of highlight there. So you want to keep kind of that same look and feel to your drawing as well. Because you can see if you look at the reference, not every finger has the same amount of highlight. Some has more than others. So just another thing to keep in mind is you don't want everything to be even. You want the overall look and feel to have an even value, but then some differences within each kind of part to show differences in shape and positioning to the light source. If that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. So now I'm just going to take my kneaded eraser. This is more for the larger areas. And this is also a nice way, you can still keep that kind of stark highlights from your mono eraser, and then you can just go over top with the kneaded eraser, and it'll kind of just take away everything around it as well. So I hope you could see what I meant by that. And then just to even it out even more, I'm going to take my largest brush and just sweep across. And that will kind of mute down your highlights a little bit more. And then it's not so bright, and then you can kind of just restart with your following layer with the same steps. Pencils, powders, erasing, build up the values, take away some of the values for the highlights, and all of that. So, let me see. Oopsie daisy. I'm going to take my B pencil and then also start left to right again. And I'm also going to take this B pencil into surrounding material areas as well. So I might jump around a bit, but that's kind of just, if you've been around for my tutorials, you would know that's kind of just how it gets in the end. switching to an, actually going to switch to an H pencil. I don't really want to add a lot more depth, I just want to even out the pencil that's underneath. And that's why I like, especially in kind of your middle area, I would say anywhere from a 2H up to a 3B. I think that's where, if you're going to add every pencil in that range, I think that's where you add every pencil in the range. Once you go past 3B, I think you can skip one. And then you don't need every one pencil. But definitely for the lower range, I think it's a lot more beneficial, you know, to have those in between pencils. So I'm just using this H pencil. So as you can see, I've already deviated from the plan. I'm not working on the hand, at all. And I am just kind of filling in the gaps. And then I'm going to take a blending stump, no powder on it, preferably one that's not as dirty. And then you're just going to blend that out and then go back in with your H pencil. Then a 2H. Just for that top part. So I'm going to fill it in, give it a blend. There we go. And then I'm going to take my mono eraser. I'm going to clean it up. And I am not all the way to the edge. You want to leave just a little line there. Gonna just add in that highlight. Actually, gonna take my kneaded eraser and just clean most of pencil at the top. And then also just clean up the edge with my mono eraser to make it look more sharp and crisp, and also to thin it out even more, because that highlight is supposed to be right at the edge, but we can't really have the highlight right at the edge, so this is the best way. You can even go from the other side to clean it up even more. There you go. And then the highlight looks on the edge, but there's some form of a defining line. You can even go in with your 2H and give it a bit more of a sharper edge look. There you go. Do the same here at the bottom. There you go. Okay. Now I'm going to go back to the hand, back to scheduled plan, back with my B pencil. And we are going to work just on the kind of darker details, darker little areas. Even the B pencil in this darker area will still make a difference, because this is more, a lot of powder was used here, so there's some gaps that the pencil can kind of fill in and just even out the depth as well. So I'm just continuously switching between my pencils and mono eraser and a blending stump, just to keep that kind of not completely smooth but more blended look between your kind of erasing and adding and erasing and adding. So you want to continuously keep that feel. And I'm also going to keep my H pencil in hand. Now where did I put it? Oh, thought I was using my B pencil. Anyways, I was using my H pencil. A bit confused. So you can switch between kind of the pencils we have at hand, going from your 2H to your B pencil. If you don't want to go into an area and have it look too dark, if you maybe want to add more depth, then you can just switch up your pencil that you're using. So I won't go up past the B pencil just for now, because we're not really into the whole adding depth phase. It's more just the smaller little bits and bobs that we are thinking about. So any area that you feel like you need to smooth out, like I did there for this little spot, use anything below an F and below, like I did up here. So I just use my H pencil there just to fill in the gaps. I don't necessarily want to add depth just yet, more darker values. I just first wanted to kind of smooth it out and fill in the gaps. And by filling in the gaps, you will automatically make it darker, because you won't have those little white spots of the paper peeking through. You guys can hear construction work in the background. I do apologize. I don't know where it's coming from, but it's there. Hopefully it doesn't last very long. So when you make your little texture lines, you can do it with the pencil and then just reinforce it with some kind of marks with your mono eraser as well. And then with the mono eraser, I'm just going to go against the other direction as well. And then some of it does flow into that little bottom section. There we go. So same here at the bottom, where I want to kind of fill in the gaps but not really add depth yet. I'm going to take my H pencil and the same as what we did on the left side of the drawing, I'm just going to do on this side as well. So I'm going to take my 2H4, doing right up the edge. Going to give it a blend, and then the same as what we did with the material. First, going to clean up with the Kneaded Eraser. Then I'm going to clean up with my mono. And then same, just kind of add your highlights to the edge, and then also I'll take my 3B and just add a little bit more depth in here. And this is my 6B pencil. So this is my H pencil again. I'm gonna just take it to fill in the gaps. Also, this is just the B pencil. This is just my 2B pencil. Right, okay, so, ooh, I hate this, all the eraser bits getting stuck to the paper. Okay, so I'm going to call it done here. You can, like with every tutorial, you can do way more. You can have a lot more of a play around, you can, you know, it's really test out your materials and such, and kind of push yourself to see how much you can put into your little space. But for me personally, very much like the leather tutorial, it's been too long since I started it and I'm losing interest. But that's just life. Life just does that to me sometimes. But I have some very big, like I've said in the beginning, I have some very big plans for the new year. I'm going to take kind of January off in tutorial terms, and do planning, kind of tutorial ahead, maybe more sound of drawing stuff for January wise and smaller form content. But I'll make a full-on post on YouTube kind of explaining methods to my madness, basically for 2025. But yeah, this tutorial is very much, I think, a fantastic way to learn how to blend your values together, how to build values and have a play with depth and all of that. Is it perfect? No. But I have gotten to a point in kind of my artistic career where I'm like, not everything needs to be perfect. I've got my stuff that I really want to go on full out perfection, and other things where I'm like, you know what, I like the vibes of it. And sometimes with tutorials I can say, you know what, I might be done on my side, but I think fully I've given you enough tools and information where you can build on further for yourself. And that's why I kind of think tutorials, for me personally, needs to be, I will show you how to do it, and then you can decide whether or not you're going to finish it with me or you're going to take it further than I did and kind of play around. And there might be kind of a part where you will go past it and kind of start stuffing it up. But that's kind of a personal journey where you need to figure out where your own stopping point is. And when you can say for a drawing, you know, this is me, I've had enough with this drawing, or I can't go any further, or I just not capable in my current skill set to finish a drawing or to go any further or add more details, or I can't layer anymore. And that's kind of where you also need to either, you can finish earlier than me, you can finish later than me, you can finish same time as me, but you kind of need to also learn where your own stopping point is and where you can't go any further. So yeah, that is the final for this one. There will be no more. But definitely further tutorials will build on kind of the same principles of this tutorial and the leather tutorial and the metal tutorial and the chocolate labby tutorial, and we'll just continue building on that, and you know, you will become hopefully more proficient in being able to draw new textures from what you already know. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you guys enjoy your last few days of 2024, and I'm very excited to see what 2025 brings. So yeah, enjoy the rest of the holidays, and I'll see you all for the next video. Cheers!